Next ticker is Tesla. CEO Elon Musk telling employees that Tesla, quote, has a shot at delivering a record 100,000 cars in the third quarter, according to Electric. Joining us is Dan Ives. He is the managing director at Wedbush Securities. 100,000. How realistic is that number?
Look, I mean, I continue to view it as sort of Model 3 demand, especially in Europe, that's ramped. And that's what's really given them a shot to hit these goalposts. But it comes down to the street skepticism and ours around what that looks like from a profitability perspective. Because I think right now, I think demand is going to wane as we go into next year. You're seeing pen up on Model 3. It comes down to can they do it profitably into Q4. That's the key of the stock. That's why you're going to continue to see the stock in this sort of range-bound area until they can prove otherwise.
Yeah. You've kind of gone through this up and down with Tesla. Earlier this year, we were talking about you saying that, look, I'm kind of like raising the white flag here in terms of the management of the company by Elon Musk. It seems like you've kind of turned a corner since then. What do you need to see here to remain bullish on the stock?
Look, I think fundamentally, you got to give them credit for what they've done the last 2 quarters. But ultimately, I view that as just the start of what's going to be a much more challenging period ahead. See, it comes down to the business model. Can they make money and be profitable on Model 3s, given the 35 to 38K price points, especially everything else they're trying to do with Giga, as well as insurance and other areas. So I think right now, this continues to be a very challenged company. And I view this as no different than, if you look at an NFL team that gets 4 wins in a season, good for those wins, not a good season. And I think that's why the stock is continuing to reflect the challenges they have ahead.
How much of that road to profitability is contingent on their success over in China? There's been some concern about the price raises they had to do as a result of the tariffs in place, where their Shanghai factory is right now. How do you see the outlook for the company on that front?
Yeah, ultimately, Tesla is really tied to China. China is really the fuel and the engine for Musk and Tesla going forward, not just with Giga 3 in Shanghai, but also in terms of just overall demand there. That's why they're really doubling down on China as well as Europe as growth markets, because I continue to think in the US, you're seeing this sort of pen up, just given price points on Model 3. Going to next year, it's really all going to be about China and Europe, and that's why Giga 3 is so important. So this is a fork in the road for Tesla.
So how big of a concern is it for you when you see the slowdown that's happening over in China? Yes, you could argue that Tesla addresses a very specific market, and so that higher price point may still work in a market like China, but the overall macro outlook is not to the upside right now.
That's why if I'm a bull right now, I'm not popping the champagne yet on Tesla. I think there's still some pain ahead in terms of just demand and profitability, especially how tied it is to China, Europe, as well as what the sustainable, profitable sort of stream is there. That's why right now, I think this is sort of a improvement period for Tesla. A few good quarters that they've had in terms of demand, but it comes down to the drum roll to earnings and what that profitable nature. Remember last quarter, great delivery numbers. Okay, bulls are out in Times Square celebrating. What happened a few weeks later with earnings? Not profitable, gross margins, guidance soft, stock came back. And that's the continued sort of balancing act that Musk and Fremont are going to have to do going forward.
Okay, Dan Ives, good to have you in studio today.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.